Oh, just one more thing. I saw you do it. I'm gonna have to send you to the Oishi dimension.
Okay. Alright, let's keep going. I was on my way back home. The cries of the Higurashi accentuated the already lonely evening. More time had passed than I thought. The orange of the dusky sky was being chased down little by little by an indigo colour approaching from the east. Exhausted from the slow climb towards Hinamizawa, without even noticing, I'd gotten off my bicycle and was pushing it uphill. ... Oh, God, this fucking music, man. Jesus. I don't understand any of this. No one had told to my face that I'd done something wrong. No. In fact, it might have been much easier on me that way. What happened yesterday really was just my curiosity. It really was no more than a quiet prank, no more than having the courage to cross at a red light, as long as you did it with other people. The storehouse for ritual implements, hallowed ground, only accessible to the family of the priest. For sure, I'd seen terrifying things that I'd never imagined would be there. Thinking on it now, though, it didn't matter what was stored away inside. It didn't make the wrong I had committed any more right. What the four of us did, Mion seems to know about it. For some reason, even the police were trying to learn what the four of us did. Did we do something so bad? Really, it doesn't matter how wrong it was. I did something wrong. It was nothing more than that, and yet I couldn't accept it. I didn't apologise to Mion or Oishi-san. All I did was shield myself with ambiguities. I did something wrong yesterday. I set foot in a forbidden storehouse for a little bit of mischief. I'll forget everything I saw in there. I won't ever do something like that again either. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I apologise like that, would they forgive me? The suddenly cool evening air left no room for such sentiment, however, as it mercilessly chilled my feet, urging me to head home as soon as possible. In the end, the evening air was correct. If I trudged along such an isolated road, regrets would pile on top of regrets, but nothing would change. Let's go home. I'll go home. Go to my room, put on my favourite music or something, and go to bed. Keiichi, if you're being this torn apart by guilt, don't you think the time might need to come where you admit to it? Now, I don't know the half of what the fuck's going on right now. I'm sure there's a billion reasons why that would be an awful fucking idea, but it's clear that continuing to lie and to not confront this is not going to be tenable. I think you just have to say something, man. Hope that you don't maybe get, I don't know, eaten or something. Thrown in the bog. I can't even say what I would do, because I have to be completely honest. I'm too scared to step out of line in such a way that I wouldn't even have fucking left the dance. Well, I might have left until I realised, wait, you're not taking me to a better vantage point. I'm going back. If I'd made it this far, if I was genuinely worried about the consequences, then would I be able to admit it? Do I genuinely think I'd be capable of that? That's a very, very interesting question, and I don't know the answer to it. I think I'd tell my parents, but it seems like Keiichi's parents are going to be busy, but I think I'd tell my parents. I'd admit, hey, I did this stupid fucking thing. It's eating me up inside, and I don't know what to do about it, and I'm scared. I don't have to go into the details about what I saw. I don't have to go into detail about the curse or the history. I think I would just listen for a mundane solution and just try and forget everything else and do that mundane solution. Just don't even think about the fucking history. Don't even think about anything else. And I'd just say what I saw. Well, maybe not even... No, I mean, I'd say I went in there. If I wasn't asked what I saw, I wouldn't answer. The additional problem is that I suspect that Tomitake and Takane are missing and or dead. And if they are, that would make Keiichi and Shion the prime suspects. This is a uniquely bad situation. That might sound plain and boring, but it's probably the strongest I've felt all day. Now that I've made a decision, there's no point in dawdling in a place like this. Sat back on my bike. I pushed hard on the pedals. I rapidly advanced forward. I steadily gained speed. The wind was cutting and mercilessly cold, but it actually felt good, as if it was softly punishing me. I didn't eat much dinner before excusing myself early and returning to my bedroom. It's not even paranoia this time, it's guilt eating out. It's sheer guilt and fear. My mum called me from downstairs. Keiichi, you have a call. It's from Sonozaki-san. Sonozaki? Was it Mion? No, it was Shion. I'd just remembered. She had something she wanted to tell me today. Oishi-san had interrupted us, so she didn't get the chance. Shion had said she'd call tonight. Hello? Is that you, Shion? Hello. Ran into a bit of trouble today, didn't we? She said it so plainly that I got a bit annoyed. She was the one who left me there and ran. Don't say that. I gave you the signal to run away with me, didn't I? You just sat there looking dazed, Kei-chan. I wasn't dazed. All of a sudden you left me there, and after that I had to put up with that Oishi guy for ages. Don't complain to me about it. I can't believe she passed it off like that. She looks just like Mion, and yet inside she's this different. I got a little irritated with myself when I realised I was somewhere in my mind, hoping for the same reaction I would get from Mion, even though she's a different person. Sorry. Next time I'll run away the first thing and leave you there. Hey, it's ladies first. Shion laughed refreshingly. When I heard her voice, I realised that she wasn't really that angry or anything. It was just as she said. The cause of my temper was because it was my own fault for not leaving immediately. I'll stop blaming it on others. Blaming it on others would be... Anyway, you had something to tell me, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, if you already know, then it's not something that bears repeating. Do you already know? Shion lowered her voice suddenly as if she were glancing around. I had no idea what I could already know. Sorry, but I have no clue what you're talking about. At least give me a hint. So that means... you don't know. She seemed to take my stupid-sounding question as evidence. However, Her voice didn't sound disappointed or exasperated in the slightest. Actually, it's about last night during the Watanagashi festival. My entire body jolted as I was assailed by a terrible feeling. Is Shion going to ask the same thing? Hello? Kei-chan, are you listening? Yeah, I am. What about last night? The four of us went in there, right? She didn't beat around the bush. Whether or not I wanted to admit it, that was the actual honest truth, and I couldn't act like it hadn't happened. Then after that, we walked away together, and then went our own separate ways near the stone stairs, right? Takano-san and Tomitake-san went to the stream, and you stayed there, Kei-chan. I went over to see some relatives. Yeah. Why do you ask? We won't make any progress if we keep asking each other questions, so let me ask this question first. Okay? You mean, did I see Tomitake-san and Takano-san last night? Huh? Oh, yes. Did you see the two of them after that? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised. This is the third time I've been asked this question today. Why? Why? What the hell was going on? Why? Why are you asking me that? No, Kei-chan, I'm asking the question. Please answer me. Did you, Shion? If you answer first, then I'll answer. My shabby response betrayed how scared and small I felt now after everything that had happened today. Shion didn't say anything for a few moments. Just as I was beginning to think I'd really put my foot in my mouth with that response, she finally answered me. Of course I didn't see them. My relatives were with me and they can vouch for that. I didn't see them either. People can vouch for me too, like Mion, Rena, and everyone else. Renna and everyone else. Now that we knew our answers matched, she let out a sigh that sounded more relieved than anything else. Thank you for answering me honestly. Okay then, I'll tell you. Apparently, last night, Takano-san and Tomitake-san died. Fuck. Well, I mean, like, you know, we... Yeah. God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. Oh, dearie me. Dearie fucking me. Sorry, Shion. What was that you just said? Apparently, last night, Takano-san and Tomitake-san died. Takano-san was found burned to death. Tomitake-san was... well, it looked like a suicide. I found out this morning. I heard my dad talking to a relative on the phone about it. Late last night. A police car, on its way back from festival security, had discovered Tomitake-san lying in the middle of the road heading towards Okinomiya. He had clawed out his own throat and died. Again? What? He out his own throat? That bright, cheerful Tomitake-san committed suicide? That can't possibly be right. The police did an autopsy. He did it with his own fingernails. He scratched at his throat so hard that he ruptured his blood vessels and bled out. He died in a pool of his own blood. That's what they said. I've never heard of such an insane suicide. You can't just scratch open your own throat like that. I realised I was yelling too loudly, so I lowered the force I was putting into my voice. I didn't want my parents to hear me, so I switched to the cordless phone and ran up to my own room. Sorry for yelling. So, was Takano-san... was that a suicide too? In her case, it's a little unclear. Takano-san's body was found in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. Employees at a rest stop nearby reported to the police late that night that they could see flames in the mountains. The firefighters dispatched there were the first ones to find her. An autopsy concluded that it was the burned corpse of a half-naked female. They initially considered the body beyond recognition, but directly after, there was a request for a dental comparison from the XX Prefecture Police Station in Okinomiya, and the results concluded that it was Mio Takano. The cause of death wasn't confirmed, but it was highly likely to have been a homicide, and she was in her undergarments and her clothes were nowhere in the area. The aisle drum had fallen over, so it's also possible she burned herself to death. It couldn't possibly have been suicide. If you're gonna die, there are plenty of easier ways, aren't they? This can't be suicide. That's what I think. It's unthinkable that Tomitake-san would kill himself too. After the two of us rattled on at each other, there was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths, and as we calmed our nerves. Right then, I understood what Shion's story actually meant. I think it will end up being Oyashiro-sama's curse. We all did more than enough to deserve it, after all. Hey, that means, hey, look. If it were, then next year, it's not looking good for us. You know, assuming we make it to next year, which we're not going to, clearly, but, you know, that's fine, it's besides the point. Serve? You've got to be kidding. It's not like Shion wanted to see it with me. I just went along with her. I tried to say that, but I fell silent. Nothing would come of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me. I could have put my foot down. I lost to my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. Yes, it was my fault and no one else's. Shion, last night when we snuck into the ritual storehouse, did you predict things would turn out this way? Of course not. I mean, I thought it was pretty risky, but I never even dreamed something like this could happen. Shion's words were probably her true feelings. She knew she could get in trouble if we were caught, but that was the thrill of this little adventure. The plot twist at the end of this phone call is that we've been speaking to Mion this whole time. It was the same for me. Besides that, Kei-chan, think about it for a moment. Didn't Oyashiro-sama's curse turn out a little strange this year? It was already plenty strange seeing how Tomitake-san and Takano-san died like that. Given all that, what could possibly be stranger? Well, for one thing, one of them should have gone missing. No one's gone missing, have they? Okay. Either Takane was the one who should have gone missing, but she was found by accident, or they were both meant to be killed, and the disappearance hasn't happened yet. If it's the latter, then I am extremely fucking concerned for the safety of both myself, of both Keiichi and Shion. I mean that they found two corpses. Remember what I said? Every other year, one person would die and one person would disappear. This year is the first time two people have been found dead. That may be true, but that's not a huge deal, is it? It is, Kei-chan. Think about it harder. Listen, if two people died because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, then in order to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger, two people would need to be sacrificed. Yeah. Oh dear. All of a sudden, yeah. Okay. if this is true, and as if this is true, and as Shion says, then all of a sudden my whole fucking spiel about, oh, you need to admit to it, right out the fucking window. I simply don't know what you do now. I don't know what you do. What do you do? Like, I don't know. Is that how it works? So what? Tomitake-san and Takano-san died, so now 2 people are going to go missing this year? Connect the dots, Keiichi, any second now. I don't understand why, but when I said that, I felt my spine freeze. I don't think anyone's been confirmed missing yet. I think that those 2 people have yet to disappear. Shion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling down her back. 2 people have yet to disappear. Shion didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap a fist around my heart, cold hands feeling about on my chest. Neither of us could say anything. Tomitake-san opened the lock and he died. Takano-san exposed the ritual storehouse and she died. If 2 more people were to be sacrificed, then they would be none other than the ones who entered with them. None other than us. No. This has got to be a joke. I wanted so much for her to pass this off as a joke, even now. That, too, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomitake-san and Takano-san had died in a common way like a car accident, I could tell myself it was coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat and she burned to death, drowned in oil in the mountains. The 2 deaths were so out of the ordinary that I couldn't possibly dismiss it as mere coincidence. It was as if, in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must be someone punishing us. Some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still don't want to accept that terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge the horrible crisis was growing near for Shion and I. That's why I argued against it. I argued, knowing I was running away. In the first place, it's not even in the newspaper, is it? Such a monstrous incident would be all over the newspapers and television. Magazine writers would flood the village too, thinking it'd make for an interesting story. Of course it's not getting reported by the media. That's how it was in the past too. When the incidents occurred for the 3rd year in a row, there were some 3rd-rate magazines that sniffed out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Hinamizawa. Fearing that the region would develop a negative stigma, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Since last year, it became a big conspiracy, where no information about the incidents was allowed to be leaked to the media. I hear the elders and the top brass from the Sonozaki family put all the pressure they could on the police. Then you mean their deaths are going to be dealt with in total secrecy? That's how it is. Of course, the police are investigating it. That's being performed in secret too, so I hear the investigation itself is very restricted in what it can and can't do. You could essentially say they're interfering with a police investigation. This story was unbelievable. People died, and yet they don't publicise it and deal with everything in secret. If we break it down further, it means that no matter who dies on the night of the Watanagashi, it won't go public. That's the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever heard. Ichan, before I said how the villagers could be the one carrying out Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's what I mean. At some point, a tradition was created here in Hinamizawa, where every year you're allowed to kill someone on the night of the Watanagashi under the guise of it being Oyashiro-sama's curse. When someone dies on the night of Watanagashi, it turns into the curse of Oyashiro-sama. It's like the fucking purge. The curse, turns into the serial murder incidents. In order to avoid exacerbating the negative stigma surrounding Hinamizawa, those incidents are dealt with in secret. That's insane. Dead and missing people turn up every year. However bad the stigma gets, the police have to draw a line somewhere, don't they? You could say the incidents happening every year is mysterious, but the police can get the job done when they need to. After all, the incidents always get resolved individually. It doesn't end up being a string of incidents, you know. It just so happens that something unfortunate happens on the night of the Watanagashi every year. That's all it turns into. Most of the criminals responsible for the original dismemberment were arrested. The last one managed to get and stay away, but the events were totally exposed and elucidated, so it was in essence resolved. The damn supporting couple who died in an accident on the second year, that was an accidental death, plain and simple. They made a lot of investigations into the possibility of it having been a homicide, but they didn't turn up anything. It ended up as an accident. It was resolved. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. There were doctors present at the hospital at his deathbed, and they all had trustworthy medical certificates. They even did an autopsy. It concluded that it wasn't a homicide. That was resolved too. On the fourth year, the sister-in-law of the damn supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was an abnormal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage. He confessed that he thought Oyashiro-sama's curse was so interesting he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while imprisoned, so this incident was essentially resolved as well. That's right. None of the incidents had any relation to another, and each was independently resolved. So then, why does an unfortunate coincidence occur every year on the night of the Watanagashi? You can try and say it's a string of related incidents, but they're not related. Yet every year, someone always dies, and someone always disappears. The story Takano-tan told me on the day before during the setup. Now that the curse really had occurred this year, I couldn't just laugh it off. Then, does that mean it'll come for us too? Just like how one person dies and one person disappears every year, are you saying we'll be taken along with Tomitake-san and Takano-san in a race too? My lips had, at some point, become completely dry, and just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. The silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me. Sure, we went somewhere we shouldn't have, but we were just looking, right? We didn't steal anything or take anything out, and we didn't tell anyone that we looked, right? I was already regretting having committed such a wrong. Even so, was it really so bad that Tomitake-san and Takano-san deserved such cruel deaths? Besides, I didn't care about anything I saw in there at all. Takano-san was the only one getting so happy over it, wasn't she? Takano-san was the only one at fault. I don't have anything to do with this. I'm not interested. I'm not involved. I don't give a shit about what was in there. I knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self, in the innermost depths of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam, and I couldn't stop them anymore. I didn't have any interest in any of this from the start, damn it! All I wanted to do was watch Rika-chan's performance. You were the one who pulled me away from that, weren't you, Shion? I don't give a rat's ass whether those two were trying to steal something, or trying to meet up secretly or whatever. That's right, you're the one who made me go there in the first place, Shion. You were all, Kei-chan, you need to see what's inside, and you convinced me, and then pulled me in. Why the hell did you do that? I didn't have anything to do with this. What will you do? What are you going to do, damn it? How are you going to take responsibility for this? Oof. Oh my. Well, Keiichi, we were getting somewhere, you know? We were getting somewhere with the character development, you know, with the re-examining of personal biases, and you've kind of relapsed pretty severely. Understandable in a way, considering the fucking stress that you're under at this point, but Huh? Hey, you listening? Ugh. Click. Without any warning. The phone cut off with the sound of a receiver being slammed down. Yeah, ma'am. You had someone in this with you, and now look. Shion was just as terrified as I was. I just said some really self-centered things. My riled-up emotions disappeared as if they'd never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret at having run my mouth so irresponsibly. Man. Look, like, I can't blame him. Like I say, he's dealing with, like, an incomprehensibly stressful situation, but I actually genuinely cannot think of a way that you could have dealt with that worse. This is rock fucking bottom, man. What will you do now? Who are you gonna fucking... You had someone to fucking work with this on. You had someone to discuss this about. You had someone who was in the same shit boat as you. And now you're utterly fucking isolated. God fucking damn it, Keiichi. I do my best, you know, like, I know I'm reading this from the outside in, Keiichi, and I don't, you know, I can't comprehend how you're feeling, but fuck. You don't listen to a fucking shred of logic, do you? I could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was too late. What have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing about to descend upon us. As for me, I could only whine like a child about it. I went to call her back, but then remembered she lived in Okinomiya. I didn't know her phone number, since I had declared to Mion that I hadn't seen Shion since last night. I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. Well, you're reaping now, ain't you? I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand, and I simply prayed that Shion would call me back again. Please, Shion, calm down and call me again. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, this is my Bara. I swept up the receiver as though it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment. Is this the Maibara residence? Excuse me for the late call. I'm Kimiyoshi. Is this the head of the household? It was the voice of a girl who clearly wasn't Shion. All my hopes rushed out of me. No, it isn't. If you need Dad, I'll go call him. I went to put the receiver back down, but the caller stopped me hurriedly. Oh, no. If he's busy, then that's fine. This may be a strange question, but Is my old man paying you a visit? No, nobody's here at the moment. I see. Again, I apologize for calling you so late at night. Goodbye. Clack. Your old man? Kimiyoshi. Wait a minute. One moment. Do I know a Kimiyoshi? No, I don't think I do I? Do I? Is my old man coming over to... What the fuck? Huh. I don't know who that was, but what if Shion tried to call while I was on the phone? I thought, bubbling with egotistic anger. Hey, wait. Give it a break, Keiichi Maibara. These are the selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? The more I thought about it, the more I thought about Shion. Had given up hope in the short time since we had our conversation, and didn't want to call anymore. Calm yourself, Keiichi Maibara. If Shion does call again, then first, apologise in a calm voice. If you do that, then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night. Man. Form an alliance. What do you fucking mean, form an alliance? What kind of fucking Mickey Mouse operation is this alliance, if that's an alliance? We just fuck ourselves so much. Alright, scrapbook number 6. I only really know Roman numerals as far up as Civilizations games go, so, you know. We have one more after this. The significance of Watanagashi. Watanagashi, a festival of hunting for sacrifices and feasting on them. While the festival itself is remarkable, it has come to be considered a form of entertainment as well. Perhaps it was because of the disparity between being both an egregious act and a form of entertainment that the perpetrators began to believe themselves transcendent. However, I found some very interesting literature that appears to raise questions about that explanation. As with most oral traditions, it's not easily swallowed, but it does mention a few things that spark my interest. According to this literature, even the residents of Onigafuchi village felt fear towards this ritual. Women and children would grow pale and tremble, and those of weak constitution would vomit. But it was said that the feast, the dissection, was an obligatory viewing. This is an extremely curious tale. Until now, I'd thought that the residents of Onigafuchi village were fascinated by the Watanagashi ritual. They looked down on those vulgar barbaric humans, cut them open like fish, and by eating them they reaffirmed their own holiness. At least that's what I thought. However, if what the villagers gained from this ritual was not fascination but fear, then that would suggest that the ritual meant something entirely different. Was it about keeping people in line, perhaps? Yeah. There's the possibility that the executions were meant as warnings, encouraging the villagers to strictly follow religious precepts created by those with power for their own convenience. Onigafuchi village has been effectively ruled over by 3 old families called the Three Families. We need to know more about these 3 families. I could hazard a guess that 2 of them are the Sonozakis and the Furudes. Right? Like, that would be my gut instinct. Who would the 3rd be? If those 2 even are the first 2, you know. I hope the next scrapbook page is about the 3 families. From the scrapbook 7. Give me the three families, give me the three families. The three families, yes, I knew it. The three families refers to the three old families who effectively came to rule Onigafuchi village. To break it down, there was the Kimiyoshi family, the Furude family, and the Sonozaki family. And each of them still exists today. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Kimiyoshi. We just got called by one of the by someone called Kimiyoshi. She asked if her old man was visiting. Hold on, I want to hear what that voice sounded like.
前原さんのお宅でしょうか。夜分遅くに失礼いたします。君吉と申します。ご主人様でいらっしゃいますか？
It's a girl. It's like a child. Huh.
あ、いえいえ、お忙しければ結構なんです。実は恐縮なんですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してませんでしょうか。
いえ、誰も来てませんけど。
そうですか。夜分遅くに申し訳ありませんでした。失礼いたします。
Why are we getting randomly called by one of the three families? But yes, the Furude and the Sonozaki family, they're the other two. We knew, yeah. Okay. Though they don't have as much control as they did in the remote past, they still hold considerable influence today. The three families are considered by legend to be those in whom the blood of the swamp demons runs the thickest. So, going off of the stories, if those stories were true, and the people of that blood were like, oh, we gotta eat some people, we gotta munch some people up, then those would be the families, which means that we ought to be concerned about the Sonozakis, the Furudes, and whoever the fucking Kimiyoshis are. Well, I don't know if I believe the cannibalism angle at this point in time. I'm going to need to see some evidence about that. I feel like I just felt the creaking of a finger curling upon a monkey's paw. The Kimiyoshi family. The Kimiyoshi family appears to have held great power as the head of the three families, but it doesn't have that kind of leadership today. The current mayor of the village, the mayor of the village, Kichiro Kimiyoshi, is from this family. The fact that members of the Kimiyoshi family are elected as mayor every generation is thought to be a remnant of the old system. Barely even at any point in a fucking election. That's basically a fucking monarchy at that point. Of course, as no rival candidates appear, it doesn't change the fact that the Kimiyoshi family holds the mayoral office even through popular elections in the post-war era. The Furude family. The centre of the village's faith since ancient times, the Furude clan has guarded the sole shrine dedicated to Oyashiro-sama. They were worshipped as the only people to represent the voice of Oyashiro-sama for a long time. But the family branched off after the war and lost most of its power. It now consists of only the main house. The main house, as well, presently consists of only one daughter, Rika Furude, so the lineage may end in this generation. There is apparently an old tradition of honouring females of the Furude family. So the only daughter, Rika, is the subject of much respect amongst the elderly of the village. Interesting. The Sonozaki family. It's said that this family has a certain police-like role of protecting the religious precepts of Onigafuchi village. Of the three families, their relatively weak position can be seen from me putting them here last. Of course, today, the Sonozaki family is flourishing, and the state of affairs among the three families is completely reversed. Even now, one could say that they are in control of Hinamizawa. The three families conferring with each other is similar to the old way. The current head of the Sonozaki family, Oryu, essentially decides all of the goings-on in the village by herself. Interesting. Didn't realise how politically complex things were in this little village. Late night phone call. This could be fucking anything. Excuse me for the late call. I'm Kimiyoshi. Is this the head of the household? Yes. No, not at all. Thank you very much for that. Yes. Well, you see, I do apologise for calling at this hour, but I was wondering if our old man was visiting you at the moment. You've got that right, yes. Once again, I'm very sorry for calling so late. Goodbye. Click. So, no good? I'm not sure what to do. He may be passionate about it, but he always at the least gives us a call. You called everyone he plays Go with, don't you? Ring. Hello, this is Kimiyoshi. This is Sonozaki. How'd it go? Have you found the mayor? Oh, Mion-chan. I called everyone I could think of, but I came up with nothing. We can't find him. What do I do? Where could he be idling about? I put a word in with a bunch of people who might have had an idea, but nobody did. I asked Nana about it, and she said we should get the men of the village together to search for him. At this hour? I mean, it's not like he's definitely gone missing. Watanagashi just happened. She thinks we should be a little more cautious. If we still can't find him, then we'll notify the police tomorrow morning. Whether or not we find him, though, we should refrain from making any false accusations. Oh, you haven't said that? Yes. If you can't trust her without hearing her voice, then I can put her on for you. No, that's fine, I understand. Well, we'll get the men together and search. If we still can't find him, then we will notify the police in the morning. She'll leave it to you to organise the men. I'll be there as well, as Nana's representative. Thank you. I'll get everyone together immediately. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. The mayor is missing. That's a bit out of the blue. And also, if the mayor is missing, is that the missing person? If so, that means that Keiichi, primarily, not Shion, has gotten all sort of wrapped up over nothing. This is getting messy. This is getting extremely messy. The mayor going missing is a complete curveball. Add on to that the fact that we have two bodies which apparently, I mean, we know it doesn't match up with the previous years. What the hell is going on? I'm gonna have to think about this one for a while, I think. Although I'll probably be playing again quite soon.